and start the recording. My name is Christy Angel. I'm the president of the Citywide Council for District 75. And in this space, I am the chair for outreach. Very happy that you guys are here today. We do know that there's a lot of great information for you. We have Maggie LeBron here from Hope and Cherish. So for our lunch and learn, we're going to be working through a few items. But before we get started, we want to go ahead and have language equity. We do have Mandarin, Spanish, and Bangla in this space with us today. So we'll go ahead and have the Spanish interpreter. Please give your instructions. Is our Spanish interpreter able to unmute?
Sorry. Buenos días. Para acceder a la interpretación en español por teléfono, marque el número 347-966-4114 e ingrese el código de conferencia 505-441-960, signo numeral. Repito, para acceder a la interpretación en español por teléfono, marque el número 347-966-4114 e ingrese el código de conferencia 505-441-960, signo numeral. Les pedimos silenciar sus micrófonos de los celulares y computadores durante la interpretación para evitar ruidos de fondo. Esta información también se proporciona en el chat. Gracias.
Thank you so much. Mandarin, you now have the floor to give your instructions.
National within Mandarin. 各位家长上午好，需要国语翻译的，请打专线电话347-966-4114。我们的密码呢是763-150-47-9。在输入密码后，请再按井字。我会在聊天室里留下电话号码以及密码 ID， 以供大家查阅。谢谢。Thank you. Mandarin is done.
Thank you so much. Bangla, you now have the floor to give your instructions.
থ্যাংক ইউ। শুভ দুপুর সবাইকে। আপনারা যদি এই অনুষ্ঠান বাংলায় শুনতে চান, আপনারা ডায়াল করতে পারেন 347-966-4114। নাম্বারটা আবার হলো 347-966-4114। তারপরে আপনারা একটা আইডি নাম্বার দিবেন, ওটা হলো 501013-217#। আইডি নাম্বারটা আবার হলো 501013-217#. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, guys, before I hand it over to Maggie, I want you to know that we do have a website on YouTube, which is CCD75 Outreach. That is where you can find this recording and many others. If you miss a meeting, you never miss a meeting. So, with that being said, Maggie LeBron, happy to introduce you, happy to have you here. The floor is now yours.
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning, still morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Maggie, Magdalene LeBron, but you can call me Maggie. I am from Hope and Cherish, and basically I'm on here for a couple of reasons. First of all, to introduce myself to District 75 parents, as well as to introduce to you the services that we provide. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Just let me know if you're able to see it, okay? Okay, is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So basically, we were part of the District 75 event at the Jacob Javits Center on September 6th. And a lot of parents were there. And one of the things that parents were having a difficulty with was the OPWDD process. Now, OPWDD is the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities for Children, right? So if your child has any type of a developmental disability, autism, they have a physical, disability, there's a program out there that is able to help in getting the resources that your child needs in order for them to get the services, right, that they need so that they could maximize their potential. So a lot of families were not aware of this, and a lot of families have actually become very discouraged with the process. So I am here not only as a person that brings information, but as an advocate for you through this process, okay? So one of the things that we do is I help parents initiate the process, right? A lot of parents, I've spoken to about 6 parents just last week that said, well, I spoke to the school and the school said they were going to help me, right? So what happens is before you could even jumpstart the process, you have to do an intake. And the intake is done through the front door offices in each borough. Now, I've listed the number. Please take a snapshot of this or write down the number for the borough in which you reside. So how the process works is this. You call this intake department. The intake department gets some information from you. It's a quick call. It's not a 30-minute call. I would say it's maybe like 10, 15 minutes. They're going to ask you, what is your child's disability, the school that they go to, and does it say on their IEP? Basically, they just want to see if you're eligible for these services and for this program. So you call, they take the information. From there, what they do is they then refer you to a care coordination organization. If you have an affiliation with any of these 3 companies, that means that you are already in the process of an OPWDD application. If you are with Care Design New York, if you are with Advanced Care Alliance, or with Tri-County Care, any of these 3, then that means that you have already done the intake and you have moved into the second phase. If you do not have an affiliation with any of these companies, that means that you need to do the intake process, call the number, do the intake, and they will then direct you to one of these 3 companies, okay? Now, what do you want to have together? So the reason why this process is so delayed for some families. Now, just FYI, this process does take about 2 to 3 months. The reason why a lot of parents are waiting for such a long time, some parents have told me, I'm waiting 6 months, it's been a year. It could be because there are documents that are missing and they're waiting for you to submit those documents. Or it could be that they're waiting for information from your child's doctor. Either or, right? You want to be on top of this because the process is not a year process or a 3-year process, okay? So what do you want to have available? You want to have a psychological evaluation within the last 3 years. Now, it is my understanding that District 75 schools do provide these services, right? A psychological evaluation, a psychosocial, 2 different things. A psychosocial evaluation is basically the background of the child, their diagnosis, any medical problems during the pregnancy, first time the child was diagnosed, what did you notice, right, when the child was born, any delays, right? That's what you want to submit. A physical, right? A physical, we do our children's physical once a year. You want to submit the most recent physical, okay? Then you want to get the IEP and any assessments that have been performed by your school, by the child's school. Now, once you have all these documentation, then the process should be very smooth because they're not waiting for anything. What I do is I help you gather this information. I make sure that before the care coordination organization actually starts to do a plan for you, that you have all this information. Because the last thing you want is, number 1, to delay the process, or number 2, not to get all of the services your child needs, okay? So we basically advocate for you and make sure that you get the maximum that the organization, that OPWDD, has to offer. Now, on that note, I do want to say this. OPWDD is a Medicaid funded program. Okay, it is funded by Medicaid, which means that when you're through the process, once you're getting to the eligibility, whatever health insurance your child has needs to now be converted to straight Medicaid. Okay. Now, if you're going through the process or you're interested in getting OPWDD for your child, you may want to start finding out if your doctors take straight Medicaid. Okay. Because that's the only way that the child is going to be able to get the services is through straight Medicaid. Okay. Just wanted to let you know that because a couple of parents were a bit confused about that process. What do? I assist you with the OPWDD process in the advocacy, making sure that the front door interview is done, following up with the care coordination organization that you're with to see who's missing, what's going on, who is your care manager, your case manager, because I like to communicate with them to make sure that there's no delays, right? So this way they know that you are not alone in this process, okay? I assist in getting you home health care services immediately. So before you even apply for OPWDD, before you even get approved for OPWDD, we make sure that we have some home health care services already in place for you, right? We do understand that when you have special children with special needs, it could get a little overwhelming. The parents are trying to work, right? They're trying to do, what they need to do for the best interest of their family, but they don't have that extra support. So we want to make sure that you get that extra support so that if you're interested in going back to work, or if you're currently working, and you need someone to help you with the child, that you have that support, okay? I provide direction and support during this entire process, okay? We want to make sure, families, that you and your children have everything that they need in order for your child to reach their potential. Listen, I am a mom of 5 children. I have 5 children in all stages of life, right? I have adults. I have one that's going to be an adult tomorrow, right? She's going to be 18 tomorrow. And then I have 2 that are, still at home, that are the ages of 15 and 13. So I understand the struggles that parents have. However, the struggles that you have are more, right? Because you want to get your child as many services, because you want them to, in the future, be able to have some type of normalcy and to be able to function, right, to the best of their ability. We want to make sure we see that happen for you and your child, okay? One of the other resources that we provide is we provide assistance in financial planning, right? I understand that a lot of families right now have that, well, listen, for families right now, it's difficult, right? Things are getting more costly, things are getting more expensive, right? But you want to make sure that your child, your family is in the best position possible. We help with budgeting. We help you. We show you how to budget. We show you how to, put everything in place that needs to be put in place, right? We show you how to save for your retirement, how to invest for your child, right? If you want to, God forbid anything happens, you want your child to have some type of money that's coming in. We help you understand how that happens and put plans in place for that to happen for your child. We assist you with understanding life insurance, right? Why is it important, right? One of the things that I thought of firsthand was, my children were younger. If something were to happen to me, what would happen to my children, right? My income stops. Somebody's going to help take care of them. I didn't want my children to be, I didn't want to think of my children as a burden on someone else. I wanted to be able to provide for them, even if I was no longer here, right? With that being said, we also teach families how to put together wills, how to put together trust funds, right? Trust for their children, how to purchase a home, how to be able to maneuver the system in purchasing a home. We teach families how to get out of debt, right? How to get out of debt so that they're able to put more into savings, because now they're eliminating their debt, they're fixing their credit. So I help families, just advocate for families so that their family is in a better position today than they were probably next year, and that they're in an even better position next year than they are right now, right? Those are the things that we do, right? And if anyone also is interested, we have actually collaborated with a company that is training people to work from home, flexible hours, right? Working from home, generating income from their home where they're with their children, right? I like to be I like to be very flexible, because my children have, things come up from one moment to the next, right? So we want to have that, those resources. So those are the resources that we offer families. I'm going to go back to the intake office, so that's where you guys have time to write down the phone numbers. But families, I want to let you know that one of the things that we want to make sure is that, coming up in this new year, that everything that has to do with your child is in order, is in place. They're getting the speech therapy that they need. They're getting the physical therapy that they need. They're getting the specialty treatments that they need. OPWDD offers so many programs. They even offer vouchers for summer camp. A lot of people didn't know that. They offer assistance in getting them into different types of extracurricular activities that are also going to benefit them in their development. I have families that take swimming classes, right? I have families that are taking dance classes. I have families that are doing music therapy, right? Because the program does understand, and although it is a very rigid process, right? And that's why we want to help you. The program understands that each child, right, with special needs has, they're triggered or interested in different things. So they want to provide these services for your child, right? I have children that are musically inclined. They like music, right? They like art. And so basically the program does provide for those art therapy, like I said, music therapy, summer camp for the children, things that are not out of pocket for the families, but that are funded through the Medicaid program. Okay. Now, basically, that is the entire presentation. And I do want to know if anybody, I don't know if you're able to put questions into the Q&A, but we definitely want to make sure that you're getting all of the answers to your questions. Okay.
We can help you out this way, Maggie. People are able to raise their hands just so we can keep order, and then we can go one by one with your hands raised. And if there's questions in the chat already, I can lead off with reading. Let's see. Nope, I see stuff about music. This has been very informative, and they love what you're presenting so far. So if anyone in our audience does have a question, if you would kindly raise your hand, we will allow you to come off mute to ask. Someone said my OPWDD process with Advanced Care Alliance hasn't been very good. Do you want to come off of mute and talk about that a little bit more?
Yes. Good morning, ladies. So I started my process, and my son's developmental pediatrician has been helping me. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Niecy Johnson. And the individuals or the care managers from Advanced Care Alliance, it just seems like that they were copying and pasting, and they weren't really advocating for specific services and specific things for my son to receive. I pay for him to go to swimming. I'm currently looking for him to, get more acclimated to being around more kids without having a oversensory situation happening. So like kind of small groups. And these things actually cost, but it just seems like whoever the care manager was or the broker was, they were just copying and pasting from someone else's kid, placing it on mine's, and had nothing to do with my child. And then it just went flat. I haven't heard from them ever since until they'll call and say, "Oh, hey, yeah, we want to come do a visit." And I told them, most certainly not. You're not coming to do a visit because you're not doing your job and helping my child or me.
Right. Okay.
You know what I would say, not to cut you off, and Magdalene, you may say the same thing. I am not scared to let somebody go. If you're not serving me appropriately, I will talk to your supervisor all day, every day to make sure you're doing what you are supposed to do for our children. Don't just sit back and wait for them to do their job. Demand that they do it. And if they don't, switch. They should be, they're supposed to be serving us, right? So we shouldn't be micromanaging and chasing care managers and brokers. Or if you see something where it is incorrect on your paperwork, you have to speak up on that. I'll say I have a pretty good broker from Advanced Care Alliance, but I've also had terrible care coordinators along the way. So I hear you. Magdalene, how do you feel? What say you?
So, Nisi, thank you so much for that. I'm sure a lot of parents that may be going through the same process. So advanced care has been going through some changes, right? Has been going through some, turnaround, not an excuse, right? Definitely not an excuse, because somebody should be on top of this. These are children with special needs. These are, that they're like, should be a priority. What I would do is, Nisi, I think you registered, and I know that Christy's going to send me over the information. I would call myself Advanced and see what's going on and who is, assigned to your case, and see if we could get that, something moving, right? I actually do have a meeting with these CCOs in the upcoming weeks. And so I definitely want to connect with you, Nisi, and just, see how we could push this along and get you everything that you need. But like I said, a lot of these companies are going through employee turnarounds, okay, at this moment. So we do want to, jump in there and advocate for you and see, because once they know that, wait, somebody else is advocating, and they know me pretty well because I'm, but when they know somebody else is advocating, then they're like, okay, we gotta like put like a 911 on this one, right? So Christy's just send me over the registrations. I will contact you each individually and see what your concerns are. But if you have any questions, it might help somebody else on the Zoom, to clarify.
Yes, and I see a few people in here jumping in and helping. So thank you guys. This is all about
Thank you, lady.
and helping each other. So Maggie, I do see someone else who said Advanced Care Alliance, and you've had 4 case managers in 1 year. We should probably talk about that, Carolyn, because that's pretty bad. But I am very glad that you are moving along to try to find something that fits. We'll circle back there. Valerie Williams said, I want to start the process for my 9-year-old, but he is not eligible for Medicaid at this time due to my salary. Where can I take him for the evaluations? That's kind of two-pieced, right, Magdalene? First Medicaid waiver, and then you'll talk about evaluations.
Yeah, so excellent. Great question, because I'm sure you're not the only one that has that question. I get that question a lot. Now, just FYI, OPWDD is more focused. The Medicaid the OPWDD, because it's Medicaid funded for special children, it is not so interested in your income. So it's called a Medicaid waiver, okay, which means that they don't take such a deep look into your income. They're more concerned about the child's special needs. Okay, and that's also something that we help you with.
Wonderful. Do you want to, I know you have your specific organization, but I do see that we have CID&Y. Thank you that you guys are here. Additionally, parents are asking about places that they can go. I know we have Adapt NYC, Include NYC, and as Magdalene says, everyone that is signed up for this particular workshop, we will be giving your information to Hope and Cherish so that they can continue, Magdalene LeBron can continue helping us in the space that we are in now, because we want you to know that you guys are not alone. So let's move back to the chat here. Someone said to call YAI for evaluation. Sometimes they have free grants offered at this time. Magdalene, do you have any other bullet pointed places where they may be able to go for evaluations?
So there are some evaluation. It depends on the borough. It depends on the borough that you're in. But there are state funded centers that do the evaluations. However, I'm going to find out, because I believe District 75 has that as part of is supposed to have that as part of their IEP or annual assessments, right?
They actually do, but I think, let me look while you're speaking. I'm going to look. I think I have a list from someone else who actually gave me a few places by borough that I might be able to include to help you guys.
Yeah, include that, because I'm in Brooklyn, right? I could talk about Brooklyn, but I know we have Queens, we have Bronx, Staten Island, we have Queens. And so, you don't want to, I don't know if you're driving or you're training, it would, it's a lot, right? But I do know, because my oldest son was in District 75, they did all this for me. So let's connect the dots and get this process, moving along for all of you.
And let me ask you this, another person, Mr. Chowdhury says, my son has Health First. He is 5 years old. How do I start the process?
Excellent. So with Health First, you could actually just call the front door. So once you call front door for the intake, you won't need to switch to straight Medicaid until you're eligible. You do have to apply for it in the process. But with Health First, he would keep his insurance up until they convert it to a straight Medicaid program.
All righty, we have one person. Let's see if we can bring this in for a couple of people who might have been late. How do we get self-direction, and what does it take to get this, and how long is the wait? I don't know if things have changed, but it took me about a good year in the process of mine. So it did take some time to go through all of the steps. What say you, Magdalene?
Yes. So I know that there's a lot going on right now with the state, the funding, the health insurance. A lot of things happened, right? Now, your process should not take a year. Okay, it should not take a year. What happens in the interim, like you guys have said, your case manager, you're this, you're that. There's a lot of things going on. Now, that's why you want to have an advocate. You want to have somebody that annoys them, right? That they know somebody's on top of this, okay? If it takes more than 6 months, right, to at least get through to close to a decision, there's a problem, right? Something's missing. Your case managers, may have a workload, but once they know that you're on top of it, like I said, I'm going to reach out to each and every one of you, and we'll get you through this process. Okay, you just have to make the initial phone call to the front door just to jumpstart the program. Okay, the application process.
All righty, I have another person. I am in District 75 and no one did anything for me. We're going to say sorry there. They told me to go to Ahava, and when we went, they double booked appointments and made us wait for over an hour. Whoa, this is unacceptable for an autistic child. I had to call YAI last year to get on a waiting list. I'm really sorry. That is not how we would hope this process should go. You should know we do have the council here to advocate. We advocate for people on all different areas and places. If we have to help you expedite or figure something out, or Maggie, put your superhero cape on so we can help Mrs. Manuela, we would love to be able to assist in this process. We know what it means to have help and to be able to breathe and have somebody else in the fight with us. So Maggie, we're going to make sure to flag Miss Coriolis so that you can be able to assist her when we send you over the emails for the parents that are joining.
Perfect.
Someone else said, what are the steps for self-direction? I took the class they asked you to take. I have a copy of the email. and then it says they were with Tri-County. Then there was a pause. Their information was forwarded to ACA, and they have their information. So I think that, let's see who's speaking here. Miss Ruiz, are you able to come off mute to give us a little bit more information and insight about what's happening in your process?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think my son was with OPWD since I think 2020 wait, 2024. He was with OPD 2023, but then there was a wait with Tri-County Care because they needed to find a case manager, and I had to do the Medicaid, and I was working with the Medicaid specialist. So in 2024 of November, I was appointed a case manager, and Tri-County transferred all my information to Advanced Care. And I did the self-direction when I was, prior to that. And so I had the email and everything. And so they transferred everything to Advanced Care. So Advanced Care has all that information. So then come, I think like February, I get a call and it's not the same case manager I had. They appointed another case manager. So first I had a male and then I had a female. But then me and this female, we worked for like, I don't know, like a good few months. But then her and I got into it because she was offended, or she was getting defensive because I was telling her to change his life plan, and she didn't pick up the information correctly. She had incorrect information. So her and I were going back and forth with the emails. So I spoke to her supervisor and I was like, listen, I don't think I can move forward with her because the way she talked to me and everything, I'm just not going to have a good relationship with her. So they appointed me someone else, but the person, I spoke to her like once and she was sending me emails, but she was very like, she didn't have her stuff together. Like she was like, she called me and left me a message, and she would say like another child's name and not my son's name. She scheduled a meeting with another child's name. I was on the email or the invitation by accident, and she would send another email and she introduced herself and she would put my son's name. Like I don't know. I don't know if her caseload was like too much, but I told the supervisor, I said, I don't know who this person is, but I was supposed to meet her. Like I'm sending her emails and she hasn't like responded, and her emails, I don't know her caseload, but I think she's getting like the kids confused. I said, it doesn't make me feel
Confident.
good
Mhm.
that someone is the case manager and she can't even get my son's name right. So then I found out I got a new case manager. But they don't tell you this. They just have people call you. So finally met this woman last week, and she seems pretty good. She's new. So I'm hoping that she stays and I can at least work with somebody, because that's all I've been asking all of them, to follow up with the self-direction, and nobody's telling me anything. So it's already been since the end of 2024. And here we are ending 2025, and no one has a status of what's going on with the self-direction.
Okay, so Carolyn, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I am going to reach out to you personally. However, I do know that with self-direction, the initiative falls on you, right? The finding the providers and finding the resources and stuff falls on you, because basically it's self-direction. You're directing, you're managing.
Yeah, but they say that hasn't been approved yet. I said, but I have the email. They said, oh, it doesn't, you just don't need the email. Like, I think they have to do something else. So I was like, so am I supposed to find like a broker or something? And they were like, well, don't do that yet because it hasn't been like approved.
Okay, let's touch base. Let's touch base, because
Okay.
your case seems like a little more, it seems a little difficult as far as like, let's find out who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? So this way we could get to the bottom of it and see where we move forward from there, because it's a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't really know exactly what to do. I'm just hoping that there's somebody that can help me and guide me through it. And it just doesn't seem like I've been having good luck with the case managers, and they haven't been really that helpful to me. So, it's just like, how's Jackson? That's my son's name. And then it's like, oh, okay. And, getting his life plan. But, and I have like respite, but I'm not utilizing it because I work from home. So, I can pick up my son and he's fine. Like I take care of him. Like, I'm concerned like maybe later on if I have to go back into the office, I may need the respite, like, when someone can help with my mom and that. And so
Let's touch base. I'm gonna get your information from Christy. Is that okay?
yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. And then we'll definitely work on this
Wonderful,
together.
guys. I'll make sure that we turn this around to Maggie as soon as we're off. Gabrielle, if we can now, in the background, Gab, if we can just go ahead and send a list of attendees and registrants to Maggie. If you need the email, just text me. I'll send it on the back end. Maggie, I do see a mom here that says they have a child with ADHD. Can they be considered for OPWDD services?
Yes. Do they have, is the ADHD just the only diagnosis that they have?
Miss Williams, would you like to come off mute and speak?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Ms.
Hello.
Williams.
Yeah, at this point, it's only ADHD.
Okay, and he's in a special program?
No, he has an IP and he's getting pulled out, but that's about it.
Okay. So there are children that have been able to qualify with the ADHD if they're like under medication, if they need a special services in school. Perfect.
Mhm,
So let's
mhm.
touch base, okay?
All right, thank you.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Let's see in this. Medicaid asked me to send a copy of my pay stubs. Will that affect my services for my kids?
So Medicaid, is that with OPWDD? Johnny Cardenas, I think. Johnny, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Johnny. So let me
Hi.
ask you a question. Do you have OPWDD?
No, I have OPWDD. This is the first time they're asking me for my pay stubs. They never asked me before. I mean, I'm just wondering if that's something new. I don't know. I'm like really because I can't lose any services for my kids right now. I'm raising my kid pretty much on my own. I have their custody temporary. I mean, I have the residential custody for me. So
Okay.
I don't know what advice you can give me. Because they're sending me these letters that I gotta send the pay stubs. I never had to.
Did the child ever have Medicaid before?
They had Medicaid before when they were born, but then when I started working, went under my insurance.
Okay. So there is a Medicaid waiver. Okay. So what the Medicaid waiver does is it
Mm-hmm.
overlooks your income. Now, what you want to do is with OPW, so for OPWDD to become activated, it needs
Mm-hmm.
Medicaid. So you can have
Okay.
OPWDD and not be able to do anything with it unless Medicaid is active. They work hand in hand. Okay. What you want to do is you want to ask for the Medicaid waiver, and we could definitely help you with that.
Yeah, because right now they're asking me to send in the pay. I already sent in the recertification, but they're not letting me. I don't know why they're asking me for my pay stubs. So should I submit the pay stubs
So
so
let's
that there's
touch
no
base
interruption?
first. Let's touch base first, and then what we could do is, um, uh, ask for the waiver.
Okay.
I'll
Who
tell you if
does
I
that?
can
I
jump
have
in
a
really quickly.
question.
Just
Hello,
as a
excuse me.
parent, I used to work at Sony and I made decent money and my son still had Medicaid waiver. So I would say don't feel scared or nervous. Just go through the process, make sure that you have all the I's, dots, T's crossed, and you'll be perfectly fine. I know that it could raise a red flag for you to feel like, whoa, what's happening? But I promise you it's probably just something, as Maggie said, some paperwork or something that missed a place or a gap that's just there. But we'll make sure to get back in touch with you, Mr. Cardenas, to make sure that you have the support that you need. But please don't let it put you in a space of panic or fear. You absolutely will be okay.
Okay, thank you so
I
much.
have a question. Hello.
Hi.
Yes,
Is this about the ODW? What is this thing called? OWD, something like that?
the Office of People with
OPWDD.
Developmental Disabilities. Yes, ma'am.
All right. My son goes to 255Q30. I've been hearing about this program for a man long, and my social worker was trying to help me get to it, but they asked me to bring him to a neurologist to get qualified. But I see his school has information about it. What is it like? What does it does for?
What is OPWDD for?
Yeah.
Maggie, do you want to give a brief, like they give a lot of resources and things for our children. Maggie, you may be able to bullet point it quicker than I can. Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Lashana, for the question.
Thank you, Ms. Lashana. So basically, OPWDD is for children with special needs, and basically what they do is they provide services outside of school as well, right? So your child might get services in school, but they always need extra services. They might need physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. They might need music therapy. They might need stuff that for them to develop extracurricular activities that's going to be for them. OPWDD is a Medicaid funded program that helps them get those services. Okay, they're affiliated with a Medicaid. So to have OPWDD, you would need to also apply for Medicaid and whatever insurance they have currently. So let's say they have Health First Medicaid, it would just become straight Medicaid, right? Now, to start the program, Lashana, you have to call the front door. Did you do the front door interview?
No.
The
I'm now
school-
getting the information off my email.
Perfect. So the school cannot do the front door interview for you. That's something that you need to do. And I'm going to put the phone number for your borough, for the boroughs up on the screen. So it's where you can screenshot it and make the call. It's a quick
I've
7 to
added
10
it in the
minute.
chat for you as well, Maggie.
Oh, excellent. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It's in the chat.
I live in Astoria.
You're in Queens. So you want to, if you look at this, my screen, there's a number for the Queens office. You want to call them. That is the first step.
Okay.
Okay, you got to call them. They do a quick 7 to 10 minute interview, see if he's eligible, if your child's eligible. And then from there, what they do is they send you to a care coordination.
Where's that at?
They will let you know which one that they assign your case to.
Okay.
Okay, they're gonna tell you. So it would be either Advanced Care Alliance or it would be Care Design.
He been having services since he was 2 years old, since he was doing sign languages to communicate from PS88. Now he goes to 255Q, and he has therapy, physical therapy, optical therapy, speech therapy, stuff like that.
Okay, so what they do is they put a plan together for him to get additional services.
Okay.
But we'll touch base. She's gonna send me your information, Lashana, and I will be reaching out to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have a question too.
We have Miss Lily Lopez whose hands up, and then we can move to the next person who came off mic. We want to hear you all, but out of fairness, Miss Lily has waited a couple questions. So, Miss Lopez, are you able to unmute?
Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm good. How
I'm
are you?
Lily from Sydney. Just wanted to make a quick comment regarding the person that asked for the pay stubs.
Yes.
So this is new from HRA. They are requiring anyone that has Medicaid buy-in or the waiver to submit the pay stubs. I learned this in HRA meeting. And also if the person has the OPWDDs, letters, they need to send that in too.
Perfect.
It's new. I just learned this last month. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. Is there anything else that our parents need to know about this newness? Why they may be tracking it or anything like that, or it's just like
That
a
I'm
new
not
tick of a
sure.
button?
I'm not sure, Christy. All I know is even for myself, I had to submit proof of my disability and my pay stubs as well.
Okay.
It shouldn't impact if the person has a case management and then they explain that the person is registered with OPWD or they have the letter with OPWDD. From what I heard, it shouldn't, but don't take my word for it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lily.
You're welcome.
The
Perfect.
next person who had their hand up that I don't see your hand anymore. You want to come back off mute again, please?
It's me. Hi. I applied for my daughter since last year. She's 6 years old. They asked me for all the documents I sent in, and I spoke to the lady. She never contacted me back. I don't know what happened.
Who's your care? Who's your care coordination?
I
What
think
company?
her name is I don't know, Gabriela or something. I don't remember. But I sent all my daughter's information to her. She was telling me only the one she's missing the physical.
Are
So I
you with
tried to send.
advanced care or care design?
I think the care designer, OPDW.
Okay. Okay, so there seems to be a same issue across the board. As far as case managers not calling, supervisors not on top of
That
it.
was the case manager, yeah.
So what I want to do, if it's okay, Christy, I'm going to reach out to each and every one of you individually. This way, when I meet with these care coordination organizations, I could bring these to the table and say, okay, how do we fix this? Like what needs to happen? So if that's okay, I would reach out to you. Okay, Miss
Okay, thank you.
Maimuna?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
okay.
Wonderful. Miss Baston, Jasmine?
Yes. Um, I have a son that's autistic. I was applying for self-direction, but unfortunately I've been waiting for over a year because they complained about that it was the state. Now I have a whole new broker and I have no idea why. If I was to stop the process, what would happen?
So you want to stop the process of which
Of the
process?
self-direction.
The self-direction, but you already have OPWDD?
Yes.
Okay. Same thing. We would need to reach out to, who are you with?
Right now, honestly, I really don't know.
Advanced Care or Care Design or Tri-State, do you know?
Oh, advanced care.
Advanced Care. So we would have to definitely reach out to Advanced Care for them to put you into regular. But let's, this goes back to the same issue with Miss Ruiz, where I would need to contact you and just see who's working with you, and get together with that person and see what's going on. What's the holdup with self-direction?
Okay.
Yeah, because there seems to be a holdup with self-direction.
Yeah, a lot.
All righty, let's see. We have another hand raised. Hold on one moment. Let's see. Okay, Jasmine, you actually just answered a question. You just asked your question. Let me go over to the chat. I don't see any other questions. I do see one of our council members, Jessica Rivera, has joined us. Welcome, Council Member Rivera. I'm just giving you all kinds of names, Rivera. All right, so I see Miss Jasmine. You have a couple of questions there. What I can do, Magdalene, also, if it helps, we can go through possibly the transcript so you at least remember who has what when you're making the call so that you know who you're responding to.
No problem. Yeah, I've been making my notes so
Oh,
as well.
see, listen, this is what advocates do. They get on it. Lily says to CC her as well, guys. Lily's from CID and Y, Manhattan and Bronx specialist. So let's use all of the help and resources that we have. Miss Joseph has a question. I can OPWDD help with behavioral therapy? I know Medicaid can, but Maggie, can OPWDD help with that as well? I believe the answer is yes, but things do change.
Yes, that's part of the process for the children. So when they do the care plan, they cover all bases, right? They're supposed to cover all bases. Everything that your child needs is supposed to be on that care plan. What are we going to do with his behavior? What are we going to do with this disability? What are we going to do with this, that? So that's what the care plan is for, right? So the answer to that would be yes.
All righty. I am looking up. Guys, have I missed any other questions? I know what I did miss. Going over for equity. Can we check in with our Spanish, Mandarin, and Bangla lines to see if we have any questions from the parents on those lines?
There's no question on the Spanish line.
There's no question.
Wonderful.
in
Do we have
Bangla
any other
line.
questions on the other lines?
There's no question in Bangla line,
No.
too.
Maggie, do you have, will you be sending out the PDF with this information? Will we be able to share that as well?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, guys, I want to ask one more time, going once, going twice. I know this is on our lunch and learn lunch breaks. Do we have any further questions or considerations before we move into adjourning this meeting? Again, we will allow Miss Maggie to have everyone's information and to reach out so that we can close any kind of loops that you guys may need. I see that Miss Valerie says your son is older and is in after school respite and has a psychiatric NP and his behavior has improved greatly over the years. Yes, good. Wonderful. So we have a
If you
testimony saying,
guys,
listen, guys,
I'm so
if you
sorry.
can get the
If you
help.
guys could attach the links that you just put into the email because it's not letting me upload it as far as the respite application form and the
Oh, yes,
family
all three. I can make
reimbursement.
sure. I'll tell you this. Once we send out the your emails to Miss LeBron, we'll make sure to send all of those links as attachments to everyone that's registered as well.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I love you
You're
guys'
more than welcome.
transparency and straightforwardness. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. We all are parents out here in the same struggle, and it's always easier when other people can tell you what they're going through, or at least say, hey, here's a route that I took, or here's a person that can help you with that. So once again, Maggie, thank you so much for stepping into this space and for staying in touch with the council to make sure that you could get this information out to us and to our parents. Thank you guys once again for coming to our Lunch and Learn. Please do look out for your emails from Miss LeBron to get the items that you need from this meeting. Again, if you do need additional help, please always reach out to D75council@schools.nyc.gov. At this point, we are going to move to adjourn the meeting and release the interpreters at 12:21 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and have an amazing afternoon. Stay warm.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays as well.
Yes, happy holidays as well.